Yeah, woo! I am the god of video games! Holy shit! Ah! Alright, let's talk about power armor in Fallout 4. Specifically in this video, I want to talk about how I don't understand what the intention of power armor was in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 has probably one of the hardest shifts of power armor in the entire series, being that in literally every other game in the franchise, power armor was just another piece of clothing you could put on after you overcame one minor issue, in that certain games required you to get power armor training to put on power armor. But after the game flagged you as being someone who was allowed to wear power armor, i.e. after you got quote-unquote trained for it, you were allowed to put on power armor in the same way you would put on any other piece of clothing. Now, I'm not going to show B-roll of this for two reasons. Number one, I think you can understand the idea of what I just said without me going and showing you, even if you've never played the games before. And number two, the main thing with power armor, which I'll cover a bit later, is that in the other games, it was a bit of a hat and a holler and a hoot in the wind, i.e. it took a while to get there to actually acquire power armor in the other games. Even though once you acquired it, it was basically like taking your shoes on and off, it still took a hot minute to get there. I searched around on YouTube for B-roll, but I need such a specific piece of B-roll to just show acquiring power armor and wearing it. As much as I love those other games, I really want to get this video done given the fact that the hyper-focus is locked in on this topic, and it is going to take me a hot minute to play those games up until the point that you get power armor in those respective games. I figured it's just easier to just describe it to you, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, well, here's a good excuse to go play those games like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas if you haven't already, or the original isometric Fallouts by Interplay, i.e. Fallout and Fallout 2. Fallout 4 does a lot of things differently, but it does a lot of things the same in terms of power armor. We're going to wrap back around to it later, but keep in mind what I've told you up until this point. In all the other Fallouts, you either needed power armor training, or you could just straight up wear power armor and you put it on like any other armor in the game, any other piece of clothing in the game. I want to go through the beginning of Fallout 4 up until you get power armor as if it was back when the game released, let's say within the first 24 to 48 hours. No one knows yet how the new power armor system truly works. There's been a lot of teasers and a lot of showcases, but for the most part, a lot of players may not understand how power armor works. They understand how power armor works in the other games, but in this game, it's brand spanking new. It's a new system, and we're playing the game fresh, blind, and new to the experience of Fallout 4 as we go through the introduction here.
War never changes.
You're gonna knock him dead at the Veterans Hall tonight, hun.
You think?
Absolutely. Now get ready and stop hogging the mirror.
Right.
We make our character, we see our weird animatronic baby that we love so much for the novelty of the fact there are children in Fallout now that are younger than the age of 10. What a wild leap in technology. Soon you might be able to flashbang them. We say hi to Codsworth.
Ah, good morning, sir. Your coffee. 173.
Thanks, Codsworth.
Of course, sir.
And then we drink some coffee.
Grognak the Barbarian in the Jungle of the Bat Babies. My favorite.
After more putzing around in the living room, Codsworth announces to the whole household that Sean has indeed shit himself.
Ah, sounds like someone made a stinky. I shall attend to young Shaw.
You know, I was nervous at first, but Codsworth's really good with Sean.
This section takes 1,000 years to get through, but I think it's interesting to see what the world was like before the bombs dropped. Mr. Todd Howard and Bethesda Game Studios seems to like to have their introductions to their games drag ass. I'm surprised this introduction isn't as memed as the Skyrim introduction in terms of long, unending, taking forever, ass-dragging sections in games, but I guess it's more funny to be in the cart, and it's more stimulating, I suppose, compared to just being in a house.
Can you get that? It's probably that salesman. He comes for you every day.
Anyways, Vault-Tec shows up and is like, hey, you gotta do your specials. You gotta do your stats. No vigor machine for you, ass clown. Fill out this clipboard. Vault-Tec is also like, you get to be in the vault with your family, lol. If the Chinese drop the bombs, run like hell. So we run like hell because the Chinese are dropping bombs. The TV mentions that New York and Philadelphia have been fucking destroyed.
We do have coming in. That's, confirmed reports, I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pennsylvania. My God.
So it's off to the vault we go. We get up the hill and there's people clamoring to get inside, but these very uncharacteristically loyal US troops are like, lol, if you're not on the list, piss off. We can and will obliterate you at the end of the world. We get in because we're on the list. Although I don't think it's us specifically, he just says infant, male, female, essentially a family, and we breeze on through. Also, by the way, when I say uncharacteristically loyal, I mean I don't think US troops at the end of the world would be protecting Vault Tech or any private corporation. They'd be shitting themselves and probably deserting to go be with their families, not help corporate America collect survivors. Although I guess on the one hand, they would think this is the last hope for humanity. I don't know, let me know in the comments below. Out of curiosity, if you were a US troop, what would you do? The bombs are dropping, the Chinese are dropping bombs. What's your go-to?
We're gonna be okay. I love you. Both of you.
We love you too.
Oh my god!
Hold on!
They move faster! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god!
Credit where credit is due. The introduction of this game, while slow, as I complained about a little bit earlier, does set the tone really well. That is the strength of Bethesda games. Yes, for playthrough 100, for playthrough 1000, it's really tedious and boring to go through the same slow cinematic opening. But playthrough 1, hell, even playthrough 2 or 3 are hype as shit. And even then, when I haven't played Skyrim or Fallout after a while, I do find myself getting re-immersed in the beginning. I think they did a really good job in terms of set dressing for everything. It captures the vibe of panicking and running on adrenaline at the end of the world. The TV just told us everybody's dying. The bombs are dropping. There's mere moments between life and death. So far, Fallout 4 has been consistent in setting its pacing and expectation. We get into the vault, we go through a little cha-cha line, conga line queue. They give us a vault suit, they tell us everything's gonna be okay. We follow a scientist man. Scientist man says, get in the freezer. You are now Popsicle. Good night, Moon.
Time for a whole new life.
Resident secure. Occupant vitals normal. Procedure complete. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Manual override initiated. Cryogenic stasis suspended.
This is the one. Here.
Open it.
I'm okay.
Almost. Everything's gonna be fine.
Come on. No, I got him.
Let the boy go. I'm only gonna tell you once.
I'm not giving you shot.
God damn. Get out of here. Let's go. At least we still have the backup.
Cryogenic stasis reinitialized.
Vault residents must vacate immediately.
We get out, wife dead, big sad, take ring, find stick, beat roach with stick, find gun, open door, fuck off back outside, find pit boy, take pit boy from poor skelly bones, open even bigger door.
Vault door cycling sequence initiated. Please stand back.
Back outside we go. Take nondescript cheating terminal, don't worry about it. And back into the neighborhood we walk. We enter the neighborhood and we find Codsworth. We talk to Codsworth, tell him that Sean's missing. Codsworth suggests we search the neighborhood, so we go with him to search the neighborhood for Sean. Sean's not in the neighborhood, big surprise. It actually would have been really funny if they kidnapped Sean and then just kind of hung out in a house nearby. And then Fallout 4 was just baby taking care of simulator. Codsworth suggests we go to Concord to continue our investigation for Sean and see if we can find some help trying to find Sean. Codsworth opts to stay behind while we head off on our own. Now, in most Fallout games, once you exit the vault, you can do whatever the hell you want. As soon as you exit the vault, you are free to go anywhere and do anything. This is the same thing for this game, but it's not directly pointed out that that's the case. From when you hit new game to exiting the vault, you are railroaded to go from A to B to C to D. You can explore Vault 111, but you don't have to. Right now, technically, the player's not going to know this. You can just completely ignore everything and do whatever you want from this point forward after you exit the vault. The game now at this point is trying to coax the player to participate in more beginner-oriented gameplay mechanics and quests. They still have a whole lot of other bullshit to teach you, so I can understand why they're not like, hey, surprise, you can do whatever you want now. Everything and anything related to the game, you don't have to do the tutorial, you don't have to continue participating in quests, you can just go. As I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to be going through this from the perspective of a new player. I promise this isn't just a Fallout 4 review, which is why I'm skipping through certain things and displaying others. This will all tie back into Power Armor soon, I promise. In my opinion, up until this point, the pacing has been phenomenal, and that is the point of me slow rolling everything that we've gone through. From hitting new game, to exiting the vault, to everything we've seen between now and then, all of the parts of the game that I displayed in their entirety are showcasing the fact that the pacing in this game, at least in the beginning, is pretty good. Obviously, that's pretty easy to achieve, well, maybe not necessarily easy, but it's more possible to achieve in a timely manner when you have a player going through a linear section. You know where they're going to go, and you know what you want them to interact with. In my opinion, Concord is where the pacing jumps off a cliff and goes to die. Now that we've transitioned from places you have to go and the developers know for 110% certainty where you're gonna go, to you can go literally anywhere, there seems to be a stark drop-off in terms of pacing and theatrics. The game, as I mentioned, still has a bunch of stuff it wants to show you and a bunch of new mechanics it wants you to get ingrained in. For whatever reason, now that we're in the open world section of the game, and the entire map is open, anytime you go into an area where a mechanic is going to be introduced to you, it's very awkward and unceremonious. As an example, on the way from walking from Sanctuary to Concord, Dogmeat's just fucking there. The developers know that there is a high chance, but not a guaranteed chance, that you are going to walk past this place. You could completely miss Dogmeat if you just decided to say fuck it and take any of the other several directions from the exit of the vault. Even if you don't decide to go to Sanctuary, you can go literally anywhere now that you're outside. You could not travel this specific road to Concord, but because you do, the game just farts out dog meat and is like, hey, there's a companion here. Remember Fallout 3? That was a video game. This isn't technically in Concord yet, but I included a part of the Concord sphere because this is on the way to that objective. The game goes from showing really interesting and cool set pieces and ideas and concepts to just, here's a companion, have fun. So we pick up Dogmeat, we unceremoniously include him in our party, and on we go. We meet some strange new enemies, a lot of them are really gross. I am always uncomfortable when I'm fighting these like blood mosquito things. As we proceed further into Concord, we finally meet some traditional human enemies, some raiders. Our introduction to the wasteland is off to the races. Everything and anything that wasn't Codsworth or Dogmeat wants to kill us. There's no dialogue, there's no way for us to flag them down and try to talk. Nope, it's just time to start shooting everything and anything. As we get into Concord, chaos is just unfolding left and right. It's interesting how in the vault, there was programmed voice lines for Nate to be reacting to things. His wife being dead, walking around the vault, even mentioning that there was giant cockroaches. Now that we're out in the world, Nate has no opinion that there's weird, biological mutated creatures trying to suck his blood, and the first other humans he's met since being out of the vault are trying to kill him. No opinion whatsoever.
Hey, up here! Here, on the balcony! I've got a group of settlers inside! The raiders are almost through the door!
This is where the Fallout jank starts to shine through. Normally, when this series of events is executed properly, you walk up, you see Preston Garvey at the top there, or an unknown individual since we're playing through this as a new player, and he tells you to grab the laser musket and come inside and help them because the raiders are almost through the door. For my playthrough, things triggered in a really awkward fashion. We can overhear various raider groups talking as we proceed throughout the museum. Again, it's baffling to me that Nate doesn't try to say anything, try to talk to anybody. It was established in the vault, as we talked about prior, that Nate can react to things. For a new player, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities to think that's just going to be a thing now. It turned out that in Vault 111, it was just scripted dialogue for that one section. But I think that sets the precedent that our player character is going to be like, whoa, wow, woo. You'd think Nate, being an ex-US Army soldier and shell-shocked from coming out of the vault, would be like, hey guys, let's not kill each other, we're all human here. No, doesn't say fucking anything. After fighting through the raiders, we meet the guy upstairs, good old Preston Garvey and his group.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minutemen.
Minutemen?
That ain't
So now I'm traveling backward in time?
Protect the people at a minute's notice. That was the idea. So I joined up, wanted to make a difference. And I did, but things fell apart. Now it looks like I'm the last Minuteman left standing.
The world's changed so much. None of this makes sense.
You all right? Listen, we need your help. And then maybe we can help you, huh? What brought you out here?
My son Sean's been kidnapped. He's not even a year old.
That's messed up. I'm sorry. I know how this world can be. A month ago, there were 20 of us. Yesterday, there were 8. Now we're 5. First it was the ghouls in Lexington, and now this mess.
This conversation serves as a talking point for introducing concepts new and old. Specifically, we were introduced in Concord to one of the new weapons, the laser musket that we picked up outside, and we're introduced to one of the game's newer factions, the Commonwealth Minutemen. Also throughout this conversation, we are completely blindsided by one of the most famous pieces of equipment and technology in the entire Fallout series, to the point that this piece of equipment is on the cover of almost every Fallout game.
Sturgis, tell him.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school, pre-war. You might have seen it. Well, looks like one of its passengers left behind a seriously sweet goodie. We're talking a full suit of cherry T-45 power armor. Military issue.
What makes that power armor so special?
A Westech internalized servo system, that's what. Inside that baby, super is the new normal. You'll be stronger, tougher, resistant to rads, and Get the suit. You can rip the minigun right off the vertibird. Do that, and those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
Okay, hold the fucking phone for a minute. Ever since we've left the vault, we've just been handed new things left and right, without any struggle, without any effort. Dogmeat just walked up to us and was like, hey, you have a companion now. In every other game, it's been a bit of a pain, and it's a bit of a struggle to get any sort of companion. It takes a while. Not with Fallout 4, here's your dog. When we got into town, despite the fact we just had a pistol and a nightstick, we were able to kill the bloodflies, mole rats, and a bunch of different raiders. And we then looted those raiders, and now we have a bunch of goodies. And we got a free laser weapon. Now I know Fallout New Vegas also gives you a free laser weapon, but it's a piece of crap laser pistol. This laser musket slaps tits. And now, we're getting fucking power armor. We have to work for it a little bit, but it's still power armor. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, power armor takes a fucking hot minute to get. It takes so long to get power armor that I couldn't be fucked to play a billion hours just to get it for 5 seconds of B-roll. It's a treat that you have to wait a while, and when you finally get to the quests that give you access to it, requires some chutzpah. We've been in the first town for all of like 5 minutes, and we're getting access to so many new toys and now power armor. What the fuck?
What's the solution?
What you'll need is an old pre-war FC, a standardized fusion core, your high-grade, long-term nuclear battery used by the military and some companies way back when. And we know right where to find one.
But we can't get to the damn thing. It's down in the basement, locked behind a security gate. Look, I fix stuff. I tinker. Bypassing security ain't exactly my forte. You could give it a shot.
We go downstairs to get a fusion core for the power armor, and lo and behold, it's a simple security terminal or a security gate. I opt for the terminal, and then I get the fusion core battery from the museum's power generator. And after that's all said and done, it's on to the roof.
Here. Boss! We got somebody up here! Show me that fancy gun up close. Not a lot of people could get past my boys. Give you that!
This is super fun. I get my suit of power armor, I hop off the roof and land on the ground like Iron Man, and I just start tearing raiders apart with a minigun. It's cathartic and it's enjoyable. And, as I'm tearing through the raiders, we get a special surprise. We get back inside the museum and we have a little chit-chat with Preston Garvey. Mama Murphy wants drugs or something so she can go to space. I don't know. No one cares. I don't care. The pacing of the game feels like it has just fallen off, and Concord has set the precedent, in my opinion, from the perspective of a new player, that the game is just going to hand you toys, and the expectation is that you can have fun and you can rip wild and you can go crazy. You didn't have to work for your first companion. You didn't have to work for your first laser weapon. You didn't have to work for your first suit of power armor, and you didn't have to work for your minigun. If you want to argue with me in the comment section that either picking the door or using the terminal was a challenge, no. Type all you want, no. Even if you don't have any bobby pins, I sneezed on the terminal and it opened. It's the hacking minigame from Fallout New Vegas, and it is super easy. When we talked to Preston Garvey in the museum, he asked us to meet him back at Sanctuary to talk about things further. Preston Garvey decided he wanted to have this conversation in a bush. We were recommended to talk to Sturges to help around in our own neighborhood. It's really weird how the dialogue for Preston and Sturges make it act like you're under their supervision when it's actually reverse. You can boss around Preston Garvey and Sturges all you want, but that's a topic for another video. We're finally getting back to the main point of this video, the crux of everything that I've been talking about. Now, as I've established, the game has been handing out toys like candy. Our first introduction to power armor was booting it up with a fusion core, getting in it, and then hopping off a roof and gunning down raiders to our heart's content. We took some damage, so I've hooked up the power armor to this power armor maintenance station, and examining the power armor, we can see that it's not like any other piece of power armor from any other game. Power armor in Fallout 4 is boiled down to various components hooked onto a main skeleton. I think it's kind of funny you can't wear a power armor helmet by itself since it's not technically directly attached to the power armor, but that's a conversation for another time. Something to focus on that you'll immediately notice is there is a lot going on when it comes to each individual piece of power armor. They have their own stats, their own health bars, and lo and behold, they have their own required components and ingredients to repair and maintain and even craft. At these power armor maintenance stations, you can even craft new power armor. And on top of that, certain pieces of power armor are locked behind perks. You need the subsequent series of perks and the right materials on hand to fiddle with power armor, repair power armor, make new power armor pieces. It's a whole smorgasbord of content and maintenance, which, in my opinion, goes against everything that was just set up for the last 30 minutes. From getting out of the vault to Concord and after Concord, the game has been handing things to us on a silver platter. Now that we have a minute to kind of pause and breathe and take an aside, take stock of the situation and all that fun stuff, all the toys we have require maintenance. Guns need ammo, duh, that's a mainstay in every Fallout game, but the power armor needs so much to do with it. Even if you don't want to upgrade your power armor or get new components, repairing it requires a lot of upkeep. This feels like an exact opposite to the experience we just had, where the game made us do nothing outside of open a door and get a fusion core, to now we have to do a lot of work to keep playing with the toy. This brings us to the crux of the video topic. I don't understand what the intention of power armor is in Fallout 4. This game feels like it had good pacing, and then as I mentioned, in Concord the pacing jumped off a cliff and died. The game feels like it is really impatient trying to show you a bunch of cool, neat toys. They want to show you all the new stuff. Hey, you got dog meat. Hey, there's new kinds of laser weapons. Hey, power armor's new now. You can fight death claws. Concord does a good job at setting some precedents. For an example, during the fight with the power armor, it's established that power armor is not an end-all be-all. More powerful monsters, like the famous Deathclaw, will rock your shit regardless of if you're in power armor or not. If anything, this also sets the precedent that if you're outside of power armor, you're probably a dead man. But I digress. I don't understand what the game is trying to go for with power armor. I don't understand what the developer intent was. In the other Fallout games, it is established that it is going to take you a while to get to power armor. A lot of the quests related to getting power armor in prior games are near the middle to the end of the game. You have to go find them. It took a couple weeks to a couple months before it started becoming common knowledge how to get power armor, and even then, even though now it's pretty easy to figure out how to get power armor, it's still going to be a couple hours into your playthrough before you get it. The impression I got from Concord, again, looking at this from the perspective of a new player, someone unfamiliar with how Fallout works, or at least Fallout 4 works, playing this game like it just released, the precedent that I feel like has been set from Sanctuary to Concord, and the entire section of Concord, is that the game is going to hand you toys like candy. But now that we've gotten a minute to breathe and I'm looking at the power armor and the power armor maintenance station, that precedent feels like it's fallen flat on its face. It feels jarring and awkward that the game is now asking me to put in effort to maintain my power armor when they just handed it to me. As I mentioned, it feels like the game was too impatient to show you all the new stuff while also trying to maintain the idea that the cool stuff requires work to keep going. Does the game want me to have a fun, Fallout-themed power fantasy, or does the game want to act like every other game where every piece of equipment and every action you take has some consideration put into it? I don't understand what the Fallout 4 developers were going for here. Is power armor like it is in prior games where you have to put in work to keep it, or is power armor a fun power fantasy toy? If power armor is supposed to be a fun power fantasy toy, why did I get to play for it for 5 minutes? And then now I have to go on an 18-hour long quest to get components to repair my power armor, upgrade it, and I have to get stocked up on fusion cores to keep the bitch running. Power armor feels like a massive confusion in this game. It doesn't feel clear what the intention behind it is. I feel like a better way to introduce power armor, or at least how it's supposed to work in this game, would have been a slow burn quest line where you get power armor pieces one by one, and then the final quest in the tree had you finding a suit. And then you were taught slowly but surely to put the suit together by the game. Or, alternatively, since the Brotherhood of fucking Steel is in this game, there could have been a section where the Brotherhood of Steel teaches you about how power armor works. Especially since when you reach a certain rank within the Brotherhood of Steel, they give you your own set of fucking power armor. So you end up with 2 sets of power armor later on. I'm so confused on what the Fallout 4 developers were going for here, and I'm very confused on what the intention of power armor is. It feels like all of the content surrounding power armor in this game is having a fucking identity crisis. As I painstakingly displayed through the first half of this video, it's clear that the Fallout 4 developers understand game pacing to a degree. The entire first half of this video is an exhibit on how the Fallout 4 developers clearly understand pacing and cinematography and how to get the player invested in their game. They clearly understand how things should connect from A to C to B to D, but it seems like they dropped the ball when we got to the open world. The Fallout 4 developers wanted to introduce a lot of these new concepts, and they wanted you to be engaged with all of these new concepts, but it doesn't feel like they understand how to introduce those concepts organically. And it feels like the Fallout 4 developers were too afraid or too impatient, or a combination of the two, to wait until the player gets to a natural point in the game where you would get the new thing. In every other game, it is a slog to get power armor. In Fallout 4, they were really fucking excited to show you power armor, so they showed you power armor, but now you gotta work for it. These two things don't fucking click. So I'll end the video with this. If any Fallout 4 developers are seeing this video, please let us know in the comments below what the intention behind power armor was, and for everybody else, let's speculate together on what we think the intention for power armor was supposed to be. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for sitting through this video if you did, please leave a like, please subscribe, please leave a comment, and above all else, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you stay safe out there.